Hey guys, J.K. White from the Baseball Rebellion here to do the Tuesday video breakdown of a hitter. And today I thought I'd start with old school guy, go throwing it back a little bit. I thought it'd be fun to go backwards and do some older guys while we do this. Harmon Killebrew is the guy that I chose to do this first breakdown of, and I love doing these. I've done a few, Mickey Mantle. I've done Hank Aaron and Willie Mays as well, so you can go back and check those out. But this is kind of just a quick video breakdown, and we're going to take a look at two of his swings here. If you go to YouTube, you can find a lot of the home run derbies that were put on back then. It's a lot of fun. It was only two guys at the time at an empty park and a real pitcher and an umpire. It's all very, very fun to watch and see how they did it back then. But sometimes this is the best place to get video of some of these older players with the cameras back then. So this is the best views I could get. And the swings were slim pickings, but I found two swings that I liked a lot. One of them he hit really well. One of them was a foul ball, but the swings were pretty much the same. But I thought I'd share them both with you guys today. So here we go. We'll start with the swing on the right here. So we got the side view. He was a righty. MVP 1 year, 573 home runs, I think, total. So you can go check his stats out. Obviously a great player in the 50s and 60s. So here we go. And the first thing you kind of notice about him is obviously his stance. You know, you look at his stance; it's very, he looks a little rigid in there. You wouldn't say he's the most relaxed-looking player. Looks like he starts with his front foot even a little bit turned out. You can see the direction of his front foot is a little bit towards the maybe towards the first baseman as opposed to straight. Back foot looks good though. Starts with a good amount of distance between his feet, so that's something that we kind of let players decide upon. If they're big enough to do that, then that's great. If they're not, you would like to see distance, but we're going to see him move actually. He does actually move really well. I think the other real obvious thing about him is how he starts with his front arm already pretty straight. Looking back on guys at this time period, they really swung hard. I would say that for sure, and that's some things that those guys did to prep themselves to get ready to do that, and he felt like it was something he wanted to do, and obviously it was really good, so it worked. And he keeps that front arm pretty straight throughout the swing here as well. So as he gets going into movement here, if we're just paying attention to his lower half, if we're just looking down from his core down to his feet, we're going to watch him really get pretty long here, as far as the distance between his feet, like a lot of guys did back then. Okay, so we go to foot down or so right here. You can see, and I know the quality's not great with his feet in the dirt, but we're doing our best. So you can see the long back leg in the back, something that we try to get our guys to really do. Really feel that movement forward. Okay, so we're going to the long back leg when the foot hits the ground. He's already started to open up his hips, and the knee is bent. Okay, so this is a position that you see even guys today get into. Some of the because I think that people are bigger generally these days. You see it less and less, but I think you're going to see more and more people go back to it since power is down a little bit in baseball as a whole. As he puts his foot down, he's beginning his rotation, so you see the spine angle. Is slightly back here as he starts to work uphill. Eyes are forward. That's very good, obviously. You can see the straightness of his stride here pretty well, and that's something that a lot of guys today I think could learn from. Bautista is a guy that comes to mind that does it really well. You know how much we love his stuff here at the Baseball Rebellion. So the straightness of his stride really, really good. If we go to the left swing now, you're going to see very similar position. Now this is a pitch I think got on him a little bit. Maybe more so quicker, so I think his stride was a little bit shorter. So that's stuff that's adjustable during the pitch. If the ball comes in a little bit faster or slower, that guy might make that adjustment. So you can see these positions are very similar. Eyes forward, the distance between the feet is a little bit less, like I said, but it does look like it is pretty straight. So that's really good. I mean, we're really happy with these positions if we see our guys and girls get to these. So that's really exciting. Now as he goes through the turn, we'll go back to the right. You can see a really good hip pull. I mean, he's really making this move happen with his hips. I mean, you can really see this stretch here now. Everything back here is going to stay back behind him a little bit. That's where I believe the whole stay back phrase gets thrown around a lot, and that's really what it is that upper half, delaying past or a little bit past the hip action. So that's where that gets a little misconstrued. But this is just a really good pull. I mean, you can really see the back hip from behind him, almost as if someone had a rope. If you can imagine a rope attached to his back hip and they're pulling it that way, you can really see that move happen here. At the same time, You can really see his front knee open up now, so his knee is much more pointed towards the pitcher. You can see by the stirrups that the ankle is turned the right way, which is really good. A lot of guys laying close today. We see that a lot, and he was able to really get that foot open at least enough to bend his knee towards the pitcher. Here's that knee bent position. And if we, again, just looking at the lower half, here comes his back foot, right? That's something we talk about all the time. Here comes his back foot. At the same time, he's pulling his back hip and pulling his back leg and pulling his back foot. So all this is getting pulled forward. Okay, he's got a nice clear path to do it because he stepped straight. He's also going to really push back hard with that front leg. So at the same time, as we get to contact here, or slightly past it, and in this case, couldn't stop it exactly at contact, we see just an unbelievable lower half. His back leg is all the way up to his front knee. These knees match. We had a little bit more of a side view. Front leg super straight. Back foot obviously has come off the ground and is even still off, touching the ground but not supporting anything yet. And then as he continues through the rest of the swing, his back foot catches, and then he gets super supportive on that backside. But again, this is really picture perfect right here. Bent knee, high heel, hip extension towards the pitcher. Front leg is straight, like I said. And if we go to the other side again, you can see that hip action right there. It's the same time same thing every time. I mean, he's really getting that good back hip pull forward towards the pitcher. Again, with the straightness of his step, he's allowed to do that. So coaches out there, players listening, if your stride is bad, it can really be detrimental to your swing, especially if you're not the biggest guy. So really check that every time you practice. And again, you can see a very similar position. You can see a very similar position here as he was here. So again, this guy was able to repeat really good lower half, core down all the way down to his feet mechanics. And there's a reason why he's a Hall of Famer. There's a reason why he hit 570 home runs or so in the big leagues for a good number of years. So I don't think it's a coincidence that he was one of the best players. And you see the same thing in Mantle and Mays and all these guys. And again, my belief is that because they didn't really have as much formal training as players started to have in the maybe in the 80s and 90s, especially the 90s when I was kind of coming through. That all they cared about was swinging really hard and hitting the ball as hard as they could. That's what their goal was. And so when they did that, these movements came out. I don't know how much he knew about a swing. I haven't pretended to ever talk to him, but this is super repeatable. You saw him do it almost all the swings that I could see from the side view. Moving up to the top half, as he begins to pull his hips, we know his feet are really good. One thing that I like that he does, kind of like a tip or something that Bautista and guys today do a lot, you can kind of see a little bit of a hand pump right there. So he kind of brings that arm down. All he's doing there is trying to sync up, kind of get the bat moving pre-swing. It's kind of like waggling the club. It's just getting some energy going in his upper body, getting some energy flowing through the bat, so that when he does actually go fast, he has some movement already going instead of having to generate that again from it. Just he's going to have that free flow of energy and be able to use it all. So that's a move that we highly encourage guys to do once they're ready for it. It is a little bit more advanced for some guys, but we do want to see some barrel movement pre-turn of the hips. So his is very simple, very effective, down one time. Bautista, guys like Javier Baez go over their head more. He's kind of down towards his hip pocket right there a little bit more than maybe other guys. Hamilton's more of a guy like that too. Again, it's all kind of what you want to do as long as you can sync it back up with the rest of the swing. So he's able to do that. He's able to get the bat going down. There's a nice tip inwards. And as he goes to open his hips, he's really getting that barrel going back. You can really see the barrel come back down behind his shoulder really, really well in this video, and then follows the hip turn. So that front arm gets a little bit straight and his back elbow starts to come down, but he's able to sync it back up and then really, really get uphill. Now, I think he misses this pitch, obviously, because his uphill swing is fantastic, but the pitch is really high and it looks like it's inside. So if you follow the catcher's mitt back here, you can kind of see the catcher reaching up and in for the ball. So we have to assume that he got a pitch up and in that he was maybe looking for it to hit over the fence, but missed it, slightly got under it, and his eye level doesn't really change a whole lot too. So we assume that it is up and in, where maybe his eyes don't have to change so much to see it well, and he just let the ball get a little bit too close to him to make that swing work out for him. If he's hitting more of a kind of out and away pitch, we like to see his nose turn back towards where the ball is going to be, but I don't think we're going to see it in this swing because of the pitch location. So from the barrel tip in to the time the foot hits the ground and the hips start to turn, it's just really nicely synchronized in these positions No real loss of energy at any time. You can see the barrel really get in the way of the catcher's mitt. That's something we talk about a lot because obviously the ball, the catcher's mitt is the end path of the ball. So you can see him really get the bat, in the way of the catcher's mitt and obviously in the way of the pitch. Just slightly under, though. It's a good swing, nice and uphill. Really finishes all the way. Again, something that you see a lot of guys in this time frame, this time period, really do well is finish their swings because they were so violent, because they never were really taught to worry about running to first base, until they took full swings, especially in derbies like this. It was a good hack, and he took a full hack. You can see him almost fall down a little bit at the end. Again, you see this in the Babe Ruth video and Mickey Mantle video. You see it all the time. They kept two hands on the bat a lot. They never let go. But the rotation here is phenomenal. You can see both shoulders. You can clearly see the upward tilt of the shoulder, so we know he was swinging up. Obviously, he kept two hands. You can see right there on the bat, something that we don't necessarily care as much, but we do think a one-handed finish is ideal just to allow the energy to kind of disperse and dissipate the right way and not put a lot of stress on the shoulder, especially for younger players who are swinging really hard. Over here on the left side, same thing. You're going to see a very similar finish. Maybe not quite as much turn here, a little bit more balance. This is one that he does connect with pretty well, I believe. That does go over. You can see the real high barrel at the end, so the extension, the release is really good. Again, I like to use the word release if you're a coach out here listening, because to me it looks like they're just really trying to throw the bat really, really hard without letting go. That's kind of the way I see it, and that's the way I try to relay it to some of my guys is we never want to feel like we're forcing extension with our arms as much as we are letting it go. And again, the good finish. So one of the things that I think he does really well, that is one of my favorite parts of his swing, is that hand pump is something that he does on both of these. You can see, if we lock it up here, so you can see that the hand pump happen at the same time in the swing, and they both, and in both instances, he syncs it up very well. I'm assuming there were times where he didn't get it synced up and maybe got beat a little bit because of it, but I think the positives outweigh the negatives if you can handle it. Some guys don't have one, but he did, and it worked very well. So you can see it happen in both swings, and I like it. I like his hip turn. One thing that we see a lot with the more powerful hitters is their ability to get their back foot in the air, pre-contact, during contact, and even a little bit post-contact, as you can see him doing this one. And, he gets the side of his body really turned all the way. So you got to turn, coaches. You got to be able to turn. You can see these guys doing it here. You can see the guys doing it now, and Harmon Killebrew was a great player for a long time, not because he was a freak, not because he was, just a big person. He was able to stay good for a long time because of the way he swung the bat, and it was because of these movements that allowed the success of these guys at this level or at this time period and today. And we want to really relay that to our coaches and to our players that you guys can do this too. And you can look for the right things. You can look and be able to say the right things. So this is a great swing. Like I said, go to YouTube. I'll put a link down here in the article below to the video for you guys. And it's a lot of fun to watch these old swings. But again, it's not an accident that this is if you took this and cleaned it up, it would look a lot like Jose Bautista and Donaldson and all these guys that we see today, the great hitters. These positions are universal. These positions stand the test of time because you cannot be that good at that level of baseball on accident. So I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. Prepare yourself for many more, and I'm excited to do them. Thanks for listening, guys.